Please welcome to the stage longtime voice of FC Dallas, the Dallas Mavericks, the World Cup on Fox, Olympic soccer on NBC, and MLS on Apple TV, Mark Followell.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. It's a delight to be back here for the National Soccer Hall of Fame induction ceremony, and it's a privilege to welcome you to Frisco, Texas, the home of U.S. soccer history. It's my pleasure to welcome this year's honorees and their family and friends, the returning members of the Hall of Fame, all of you at every level of FC Dallas and the National Soccer Hall of Fame. Also, the board and staff of U.S. Soccer, representatives from FIFA and the 2026 FIFA World Cup, those of you that are here today as supporters of our beautiful game, and those of you watching online around the U.S. and the world. To begin our program, please join me in welcoming to the stage Class of 2018 National Soccer Hall of Fame President from U.S. Soccer, Cindy Parlow-Cone.
Landon, I think you still got it. All right, let's have some fun tonight. Not everyone's eaten. We have our drinks in hand. This is such a special night. I always look forward to this day every year as it brings the U.S. soccer family and the larger soccer in the U.S. family together to celebrate our game and to induct some of the absolute greats of our game into the Hall of Fame. And to all of the Hall of Famers here today, thank you for all you have contributed to our game. It is so cool to stand up here and look out and see all the red jackets. It's such an honor to wear this red jacket. This year I got the shoulder pads taken out, so it fits a little bit better, so thank you. But seriously, it's so great to be among such an accomplished group. And what an amazing venue this is. Special thank you to Clark and Dan Hunt and their entire family for making this such a special place for us to come together each year. Yeah, huge round of applause for them. And welcome to our friends from FIFA, Amy, Dan. Seems like you never left us at U.S. Soccer, but happy to see you join our relatives at FIFA, and also Colin for joining us here today. You will be instrumental in helping us make sure that the Men's World Cup in 26 is the best World Cup we have ever seen. And together we're working to make sure that it has a transformational impact on soccer in the U.S. But first, as you all know, this summer we have the Women's World Cup kicking off in Australia and New Zealand in about 75 days. That's hard to believe. It's coming up that quickly. But we know our women's national team, Kate Markgraf, who we're celebrating tonight, and Vlatko, and all the players are doing everything they can to win an unprecedented third consecutive World Cup championship. And speaking of World Cup, we have some World Cup legends being inducted here today. Every year we have an unbelievable group, but this year's class is especially remarkable. Arguably some of the best we have ever seen take the field or coach from the sidelines, and arguably one of the best all-time sports writers. All of them are legends, and I can't wait to look forward to honoring them and celebrating them today. Thank you. Enjoy the night.
Thanks so much, Cindy. Frisco, Texas has become the home of U.S. soccer history.
Was the opportunity to create a space where the greatest men and women in our game could properly be celebrated and honored. Today, we enshrine 7 new members whose names will be added to the ring above our heads and whose contributions to the game will be recognized for years to come. One thing that I love about this Hall of Fame is how it recognizes soccer's past, but it also builds soccer's future. Over the past several years, we have had tens of thousands of visitors to the Hall of Fame. Through our partnership with the Frisco Independent School District, we brought in 10,000 students alone this past year on field trips and gave them an opportunity to learn about the cutting-edge technology in the Hall of Fame, as well as the rich history of U.S. soccer. This place is not only a testament to our history, it is a beacon of what is to come in our game. So thank you for being here today, and thank you for being part of this very special weekend. Now I'll turn it over to my brother, Dan Hunt.
Thanks, Clark, and it's such an honor to be here with you today. And there are a lot of thank yous today, but I want to start again with my assistant, Crystal DeLeon, because she was walking around when Jordan was giving her a thank you. She's done a fabulous job. And I also want to thank Executive Director Jordan Buellholz. Because of his efforts and the amount of time that he puts into this, he really makes this special. So let's give it up for both of them. We often say this is the most personalized experience in professional sports. So I encourage each and every one of you to go through the facial recognition software that we use with NEC so you can have this fully interactive experience here at the Hall of Fame. Another special thanks to Dan Flynn for believing in the project and also the city of Frisco. Without them understanding what our goal was and how we were going to achieve it, this would not have come to life. So thank you for the belief in this. This was such an honor to bring it back to life. And people often ask Clark and I if we did this because our dad was a member of the class of 1982. And what I would tell you is no, it has a lot to do with the people that have given so much to the game, but even this current class that's going in. As we watched each of you play or coach during the years, it just didn't sit right that you didn't have a home, a permanent home to honor your legacy and your greatness. And so we were so thrilled to bring the National Soccer Hall of Fame to honor your accomplishments. And also there will be so many people in the future, men and women, that will have contributions that we will celebrate in this beautiful Hall of Fame. To the class of 2023, congratulations. You have brought so much joy. And also to Hope, member of class of 22, congratulations to you. To the MLS guys going in, I would say congratulations, but you also brought Clark and I a lot of pain and suffering. But still, congratulations. And to the family of Grant Wall, thank you for allowing us to celebrate his legacy. His voice and his unique perspective was not just heard in this country, but it was heard worldwide, and it brought a lot of credibility to the game that we all love so much. So thank you all for being here today. I hope you enjoy it. Let's enjoy one of the greatest classes ever to go into the National Soccer Hall of Fame.
Thanks to Clark and Dan. The stars of today's ceremony are the newest honorees. You'll see their names and faces featured throughout our induction weekend. But as we celebrate America,
defenders, but inspiring forwards to take pride in the box, off of set pieces, inspiring attacking midfielders to track back players. Of course, there were players that did not want to hear my wrath. I also was never easy on myself. And of course, I certainly wasn't the easiest player to train with every single day. But I can say with conviction that I made every single player around me better. I was there for my teammates, whether they were a rookie on the team or through the toughest of life's moments. And many too were there for me. I am honored to have played with some of the most trusted defenders, midfielders, and forwards of all time. Michelle Akers, Mia Hamm, Tiffany Milbritt, Shannon McMillan, Joy Fawcett, Carla Overbeck, Carly Lloyd, Lori Klepny, Tina Frimpong, Shannon Boggs, Christy Rampone, Heather Mitz, Lauren Holiday, Kelly O'Hara, Rachel Bueller, Amy LaPilbit, Tobin Heath, Kim Little, Jess Fishlock, Aya Miyama. It would be so hard to name them all, but my fondest moments were playing behind the players who reciprocated the accountability, the intensity, and the trust of a teammate to pick you up when you're down. The ones who made playing a breath of fresh air. The ones who made it all worthwhile for me. The teammates who helped make me the player and the teammate that I became. Thank you to all of those players, and as we trusted one another on the field, I trust you know who you are, both domestic and abroad. As much as we honor and celebrate changing goalkeeping, the most lasting change comes from the fight off the field. I am the very first athlete to sue their employer for violation of the Equal Pay Act and Title VII. I now want to take a moment to thank my team of attorneys, many here tonight, for starting the groundbreaking, earth-shattering change when it comes to equal pay in our country. Rich Nichols and Art McAfee were the first on board, who I was miraculously able to contact through my husband, Jeremy Stevens, and his contacts at the NFLPA. Rich and Art educated every single player on the U.S. women's national team that what our rights were and are under the Equal Pay Act and Title VII. Rich was the first to bring our complaint to the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, and so the fight began. It hasn't been easy for Rich, for me, or for our team. Not for Melinda Travis, who was in the trenches alongside of us every step of the way and who came into our lives when we needed her the most. It hasn't been easy for Tiffany Shine, who probably by now has an honorary law degree. Jeremy, too, was committed to the cause and saw the sacrifices, the hard work, and the toll it took on our family. This award also represents off-the-field accomplishments, and man, do I share this award with my team, who all were just as passionate in the fight for equality and who are responsible for opening doors for others who are more fearful, and for many women who will benefit in the workforce because of this historic move in women's sports in America. Thank you to our team, Tim Moffin, AJ Day Bartolomo, Ariana Tadler, Paul Stafford, Jim Trusty, Art McAfee, and of course, Rich M. Nichols. Since being away from soccer, we lived through a pandemic. Jeremy and I had beautiful twins who are now 3 years old. Life has changed so much. Mistakes are a part of life, but the ones who helped us through probably the toughest time in our lives were many people in this room, our dear family and friends. Those who were once only my husband's friends, but now also mine. The road has been tough, but it would have been much tougher without your love, your strength, and your loyalty. I want to take a minute to ask my 4 tables to stand up. Everybody at home listening, and even those who are listening back at home, who couldn't be here tonight, my cherished friends and loved ones who have always brought better days, Cheryl, Tina, Malia, Gina, Suze, my late friend Liz, the Bird family, the B Squad. Me and Jeremy's gratitude is deep. Our love is much deeper. We love each and every one of you, and we thank you for standing by us every time, every day, throughout life. Thank you, guys. Jeremy, thank you for sacrificing everything to show your undying love for me, as I did for you. True equals. The road has been long and winding, but our beauty, our love shines through every day. Thank you for showing me the power of love and commitment and the strength to stand for truth at all costs. I have no doubt that Vittorio and Lozen will too find their own way through this cold and beautiful world. And there is no more worthy teammate, man, husband, and father I want to take on the greatest of life's challenges with. Mom, too many times I have taken your love for granted. But your undying love for me, your strength as a woman, a mother, a grandmother, a sister, and a friend are traits and values our family will forever embrace and know and live because of you. Thank you for your everlasting legacy to the Stevens family. It has been a sincere honor. Thank you.
Congratulations, Hope, on your enshrinement. Thank you for your inspiring speech. And Jeremy, your voice sounds just fine. We've come to our first planned intermission, so please be back in your seats in 10 minutes, and we will honor the builder and veterans from the class of 2023. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Time to return to our seats as we continue with the 2023 National Soccer Hall of Fame induction ceremony. I hope you guys appreciated the couple of extra minutes you got for the intermission. We have 3 more Hall of Famers that are going in the next segment of our presentation before our next intermission. Hall of Fame careers are rarely defined by 1 or 2 specific moments or achievements. As you see in today's program, the resume of each of these inductees needs to be typeset in fine print to fit on a program page. Even on long resumes, there will be specific achievements, however, that stand above the rest. Perhaps something that's never been done before. For Jill Ellis, those specific achievements are her back-to-back World Cup championships, the 2 additional stars above the crest, and the 2 new trophies back there in the case are permanent artifacts that record these historic contributions. Jill is the only coach to lead her team to back-to-back Women's World Cup titles. And along with that, I bet you guys didn't know this, you have to go back 85 years, 20 years before substitutions were allowed in a World Cup match to find a men's coach to do the same. A few of you might remember the old radio announcer Paul Harvey that I'm invoking here. Here's the rest of Jill's story.
The U.S. women's national team has been led by a long line of some of the game's top coaches. Jill Ellis clearly stands alongside them as one of the best ever. Ellis was born in Portsmouth, England, and her love of soccer started there. It was only after her family moved to Virginia that her soccer journey picked up steam, leading her high school to the state championship and her club team to the national title. She was also a dominant player in college, leading the attack for William and Mary, where she scored 32 goals for the Tribe in her 4 years. After graduating, Ellis moved into coaching. Her first head coaching job came at the University of Illinois, where she led the Fighting Illini to their first ever NCAA College Cup appearance. In 1999, Ellis moved to UCLA. Her teams won 6 consecutive Pac-10 championships and made it to 8 NCAA College Cups. When her career at UCLA had ended, her team had won an amazing 229 games, lost just 45, and added 14 ties. But what Ellis accomplished at the college level was only the prelude to what would come next, leading the U.S. women's national team back to the pinnacle of global soccer. When Ellis took over, the Stars and Stripes found themselves at a turning point. The disappointment of a loss in the 2011 FIFA World Cup final still stung. At the 2015 tournament in Canada, the U.S. allowed only 1 goal in the run-up to the championship final. And there, they got their revenge against Japan with an absolutely dominant performance in the 5-2 victory. Ellis was named the FIFA World Coach of the Year for women's football. A disappointing 2016 Olympic campaign left Ellis and her squad with a number of questions and something to prove ahead of the 2019 FIFA Women's World Cup in France. And just as they had 4 years before, the U.S. left no doubt about who the best team in the world was. An undefeated group stage saw the U.S. women score 18 times while not allowing a single goal. In the knockout rounds, Spain, host France, and England all fell by 2-1 scores. And in the final, the United States beat the Netherlands 2-0 on goals from Megan Rapinoe and Rose Lavelle. In 5+ years as head coach, her teams won 106 games, tied 19, and lost only 7. Her 132 games in charge are the most ever by any U.S. women's coach. Ellis's teams were undefeated in both World Cup qualifying and in the World Cup itself, and she was twice named as the world's best coach for women's soccer. In 2022, Ellis started the next chapter of her soccer life when she helped found the NWSL's expansion, San Diego Wave. She truly is one of the greatest coaches in U.S. soccer history. And in 2023, Jill Ellis was inducted into the National Soccer Hall of Fame.
A couple of years ago, I had a chance to host an event with Jill as the speaker at the SMU Athletic Forum. She's a delight to speak with. I'm really looking forward to your speech, Jill. And here to present Jill for induction as a Hall of Famer herself, April Heinrichs, who flew in all the way from New Zealand to be with us today.
Okay, let me introduce you to Jillian Ellis and some of the things you may not know about Jill. Oh, I just lost my speech. What just happened? All right, so it's Jillian or Jill, not to be confused with J.E. That's her beloved father. The day I met Jillian, was in 1987. I showed up at my first ever coaching job at the College of William and Mary. There to work as a professional coach, all excited with my new sweatshirt on, little soccer ball on my chest, little green and gold, and my initials in the middle. Jill, who I'd never met before, said, "What's that stand for? Asshole?" That's a true story. Yep, she nailed it. She's English, well, sort of. She's from Cow Plain, England, right? Small town south of Southampton, right? J.E., her father, traveled on behalf of the English government, the British government, around the world and as a Royal Marine to grow the game globally. So you can see where the apple didn't fall far from the tree. The family arrived in Virginia in 1981. Jill was just 16 years old. Her brother, older brother, Paul, followed a few years later. He was her sparring partner at home, where she was playing up and learning the game from an older brother. The family started Soccer Academy, a year-round soccer camp business. Margaret, her mother, a Scottish woman, strong Scottish woman with a thick accent, ran the business, while Jill, J.E., and Paul were coaches. So she was training at home. John, J.E., used to coach all of us. He has an extensive coaching tree himself. When he started a camp, he would start every camp or every meeting the same way. He would say, "Soccer!" And see, we know this, right? Every camp, every session, John and I, John, the family, the Ellis's family, it always started with soccer. Thanks for playing. Feel free to jump in for the rest of you that also love the great game of soccer. J.E. told us this was an American word, soccer. I have pretty much believed for the last 35 years soccer was invented by Americans, the word. And J.E. told us that. I Googled Jill this past week just to see if I was missing anything, and I saw that actually soccer is a British word. Comes from the word association. Clever man teaching us about the game, letting us think we invented soccer. This is where Jill gets it. So you got J.E., Margaret, and Paul influencing her at home all the time. But have you ever heard the phrase, behind a great woman is two great women? You ever heard that phrase? Behind Jillian is also Betsy Stevenson, her partner for over 15 years, doing all the work behind to make it look good up front. And their lovely daughter, Lily Stevenson Ellis, who is smart, engaging, empathetic. I mean, she walks into their house and goes, "Hi, Mommy, how was your day? Hi, Mom, how was your day?" So empathetic. Attending William & Mary, go Tribe. So this is the Ellis's family. Thanks to the great game, the Ellises are a modern family, living the American dream. More on Jillian. She played field hockey, she played netball, and she played soccer. Thank you. She won a state championship. She won a national championship at the club level. She followed her two closest friends to college at William & Mary. Go Tribe. Yep. Probably the last time Jillian Ellis ever followed anyone. She scored 32 goals, as you heard. She was a college All-American. She was a forward, Bachelor of Arts, master's degree at NC State in technical writing. Can you imagine Jill Ellis sitting at some computer company writing technical manuals that teach us how to solve a problem? That was Jill. She's got a professional USSF pro license. As a result of all this higher education, she's quite the poet, known for writing poems to her teams, her friends, and her players. She's also a gamer. Exactly, she's laughing. She's a gamer, loves a good video game on the screen, even if her 4-year-old or 5-year-old is sitting around watching her shoot bad guys, because there's always a winner and a loser in a video game. So that was Jillian. And now to the art of Jillian's coaching. She started coaching at a young age. She was allowed to try things when no one was watching. She tried, she had success. I'm sure she had some failures. She was developing from a very young age as a coach. She has coached 5 colleges, at 5 colleges, and touched so many players. She's had 9 national team positions as a coach in our system and as a director in our system. Imagine all the players that she's influenced through those 2 endeavors. She is smart, clever, focused, and innovative. She connects with all types of players. She maximizes players' teams and potentials. In my view, Jillian is a one-of-a-kind genius in the game, and I don't use that name loosely. She is a genius with the way she manages players and tactics. She shoots between the eyes, and players respect her. Most still love her. She coaches players to become independent, and they know they can always depend on her. I know I can always depend on her. Never boring, always funny, the kind of person you want to invite to dinner. Our friend and 2-time FIFA Women's World Cup champion, head coach, and now 2023 National Soccer Hall of Fame inductee, Jillian Ellis.
Didn't know they had cheerleaders in soccer, but I brought a few. Just kidding. Whew, okay. CP, I got to take the shoulder pads out, and that'll be just good. Fortunately, I don't flex and don't work out much, so I'll be good. Wow. I was searching for how best to describe this moment when I remembered a quote I heard a couple of years ago that I think just beautifully captures the gratitude that I feel today. It goes something like this: I am simply a mosaic of the people that I've met and the things that they have carried. I am so damn lucky to have crossed paths with so many extraordinary people. And to my family and my friends, teammates, former players, and colleagues, I thank you for having such broad shoulders. You have shared your wisdom, shown me love, offered me feedback. Yes, you've kicked my ass, and provided encouragement. Today does certainly not happen without the intersection of our lives. To the other inductees and your families, my warmest congratulations. It is a privilege to share this moment with you. You are truly MVPs and game changers, and our sport is exponentially richer from your contributions. I'm especially proud to share this day with two of my former players, Hope and Lauren. By far, two of the best who have ever played this game, and so deserving of this honor. But perhaps more importantly, Hope, you were always my mom's favorite. And when Lauren would spring Lily from her preschool class at UCLA for a play date, she became my daughter's first superhero. So thank you very much, both of you. To Celine and Grant's family, as a community, we share your tremendous loss. As a soccer family, we celebrate his persistence and brilliance to give us relevance. April, what can I say? Thank you so much for being here today, for sharing a little bit of my story and your kind words. I am one of so many female coaches who owe you a debt of gratitude. Where there was no career path to follow, you carved one out. You are a true trailblazer. By offering me a job, you gave me a chance at a life I never dreamed of growing up in England. And working alongside you, I learned about excellence and what being truly committed to your craft truly meant. I also learned, I don't remember that story you shared, by the way. But damn, I nailed it. I'm just kidding. I also learned that my freakishly competitive nature was in fact really tame, one might say mild compared to yours, but the most competitive human being I've ever met. But seriously, April, you are a champion of so many, and I'm so fortunate to have you in your corner, my corner. To Jorn and the Hall of Fame committee and all the staff that pulled off this beautiful weekend, your diligence, your work, and your pride are so greatly appreciated. And for sure, rumor has it, everybody, the first round is on Landon tonight. There has been no greater honor than to coach for the U.S. women's national team. And I do want to take a moment and sincerely thank, God, you're sitting front and center, how perfect, to thank Dan Flynn for encouraging me to apply for the job and his advocacy for our women's program. Yours, Sunil's, and Carlos's support during my tenure was critical to the successes that we shared. And those successes, well, they don't happen without the foundation built by the iconic coaches who came before me. Anson, Tony, April, Pia, your impact on our sport and the blueprint you gave us and developed for us has given all of us who came afterwards one hell of a roadmap. Thank you for your vision and your commitment. In a family of coaches, my mom was the best of us all. She passed last year, and this is only one regret in my life, is her not being here tonight. Because she was the coach's coach. She never needed to be in the spotlight, but what she did every day for her family helped us shine. She was not one to rattle off long motivational speeches, but her simple, most heartfelt words of encouragement would always carry me in the biggest moments. Whether it was the morning of a tough exam at school or the night before a World Cup semifinal against Germany, her simple message to just try my best always strengthened me. And that proverbial arena became way less daunting. While my mother was my rock, my father was my inspiration. I used to follow him around football grounds, tagging along as a mischievous 6-year-old, even trying to figure out how the men's bathroom worked, because there wasn't a woman's one. You get what I'm saying? I first loved football because it was a connection to my father. A Royal Marine Commando, my dad wasn't around a ton growing up, but when he was, he had a shadow. He has shaped me immeasurably, kicking balls till I could ping it just right, teaching me how to drive stick, and sharing wisdom on which I have leaned on my entire life, and I now get to share with my daughter, Lily. He's had some zingers, I'm not going to lie. On the eve of my first head coaching career at the University of Illinois, like literally my debut, he called me and he said, "Remember, you're not really a coach until you've been fired." I mean, that's a hell of a pep talk, Dad. But later I got it. I got it because it's a part of the journey. So don't fear it. Don't coach to keep your job. Coach in what you believe. The most impactful lesson my father taught me, one that truly allows me to stand here today, was when you come to that crossroads of a decision, a decision so big that you feel it's just going to swallow you up, always choose bold. Life, he taught me, really should be an adventure. So when I called my parents to tell them I was thinking of leaving my tech job in corporate America for $6,000 a year to go be the second assistant with April at the University of Maryland, my mother fired back in her best Scottish brogue. "Are you fucking kidding me?" My father paused and said, "Oh, how exciting. You got to go for it." Well, Dad, we went for it, and I'm so proud to be a chip off your block. I think every little girl who has a big brother has a built-in hero. I certainly did. My brother was a Man U fan. Still is, loyal. I had to be a Man U fan. I wanted to go fly fishing at Loch Leven. He wanted to go fly fishing at Loch Leven. I wanted to go scare the fish. When I wanted to play footy with the boys, he always let me. He didn't always pick me on his team, but somehow when we were kicking the crap out of each other, I knew he always had my back. Paul, you have influenced my journey probably more than you know. Thank you for being my confidant, my competitor, my mentor, my punching bag at times. I did knock 2 of his teeth out when we were little. We had some really good dust-ups. But most importantly, Paul, for being my big brother. Thank you. I have been so privileged to have worked with teams my entire life. But I never had a teammate in life until I met my wife. Betsy, thank you for your unconditional love and support. You are not part of this journey. Together we are the journey. And I'm eternally grateful to be by your side. I love you. And sweet Lily, the day I became your mom was the greatest day. It was the day I got everything I ever wanted. It is my greatest honor, and your mom and I could not be prouder of the young woman you have become. You ask any coach, we are always fixated on the windshield, not the rearview mirror. A win or a loss is short-lived because the next game is what matters. We tell our players, focus on the next shot, the next pass, the next decision. And in the high tempo of the lives we now live, what's next is our refrain. We scroll, we click, and multitask our way through our days, and then our days become months, and you get the idea. But sometimes we are fortunate to have those moments that give us pause and show us what is really important. Trophies will sit on shelves and medals will get dusty. But as I take in this moment, I am humbled that the most significant part of this journey are the people who are on it with me. My wonderful friends and loving family, my sisters, teammates, and coaches at William. Go on, give it up for yourselves. The incredible players and coaches from the University of Illinois and UCLA, and of course, my extraordinary staff and players from the U.S. women's national team. I was asked this week by some media if there were any regrets, and I shared that with them, this poignant sentiment I've shared with my daughter many times. It's a quote I heard. Yes, I actually was an English major, so I read a hell of a lot still, but the quote goes like this: to truly appreciate the beauty of the ocean, one must love both the crest and the trough of the wave. I've been so very fortunate and blessed in soccer to experience incredible highs, but the times that were hard, the mistakes, the moments that stung were equally as important as to the narrative. I'm going to close quickly with a story of a beautiful gift I was given. My dad, many years ago, he bought himself an organ. I think my mother had a few choice words about that as well. And for years, he would steal away to the back bedroom of my parents' house and practice. Elton John, show tunes. His repertoire steadily grew. My mom actually did make him wear headphones, so she couldn't hear him. But my parents weren't able to come to the 2015 World Cup. So after the tournament, I went home at Christmas to see them. After a little coaxing from my mom, my dad played for me the song he learned and played before every one of my US soccer matches, the iconic "You Will Never Walk Alone." Today, as I reflect on standing here, I'm humbled and thankful for those who have walked beside me. And yeah, I got one more thing for you. Let's go hit a freaking three-peat this summer. Thank you very much.
Congratulations, Jill. I want to go ahead and invite everyone to the 2024 induction ceremony. I don't know when it's going to be. I don't know who's going to be inducted. The intro scripts are going to be a little bit different next year. I found out there's some words that I didn't think we could use that we could use. April and Jill, I've learned something. The intros are going to be a little spicier next year, I think. But they won't be as spicy for the remainder of today's induction ceremonies. We have 5 more inductees, including this next one, who's from an era of the late 70s through the early 1990s that does not feature prominently in U.S. soccer history lessons. During this time, indoor soccer leagues carried the banner for professional soccer in this country. Most notably, it was the major indoor soccer league that was established and made the biggest impact. Played at a fast pace, indoors, on turf, with the dasher boards in play and on-the-fly substitutions, the indoor game drew millions of fans each year in markets big and small across the country. The indoor game attracted the best domestic and foreign players during this era and bridged the gap between the NASL and Major League Soccer. While many Hall of Famers played and starred indoors, ahead of this year's election and the Hall of Fame's Veteran Selection Committee took a specific look at the players whose indoor accomplishments alone made them worthy of induction. Through the election process, they identified and elected that player, dubbed the Lord of All Indoors, Slavisha Steve Zhungel. Zhungel is indoor soccer's all-time leading scorer, a 6-time most valuable player, a 7-time scoring champion, and a 4-time pass master for leading the league in assists. The cumulative numbers are amazing, but so are statistics that include 7 goals in a single game, 3 goals scored in 37 seconds, and 108 goals in 40 games in one season. Hope that league was a goalkeeper's nightmare, it sounds like. Let's take a look at Steve Zhungel's remarkable career.
Brecky on the intercept. Zhungel may get a chance. Pumps it in. Steve Zhungel has now scored in all 6 of his all-star appearances in the West.
Some of the best professional players in America played indoors on turf with the Major Indoor Soccer League. A legend of that league would earn the nickname the Lord of All Indoors. His name is Steve Zhungel, and his story, like his skills, is unlike any in the history of American soccer. Born Slavisha Zhungel in the former Yugoslavia, he joined Hajduk Split at age 16. In the 6 seasons between 1972 and 1978, Zhungel scored 82 goals in 177 appearances and led the team in scoring every season. His Split teams won 3 First Division titles in Yugoslavia. He was a star both on and off the pitch, and his soccer future burned with possibility. But what Zhungel wanted more than anything was something soccer couldn't give him: freedom. Midway through the 1978-79 season, Zhungel was given permission by Hajduk to travel to New York with his girlfriend and to play in some indoor soccer matches with the New York Arrows over the winter break. What Zungul did instead was defect from Yugoslavia, a move he hoped would allow him to play in the NASL. But Yugoslavia lobbied FIFA, who banned Zungul from outdoor soccer competition from 1979 through 1982. These would likely have been the prime years of his career, and he had only one place to play, the MISL. His stats from those years with the Arrows are hard to believe. In just 145 games, he scored 372 goals. He scored 4 times in his first game, and the Arrows won the league title. He led the league in scoring the next year, and the Arrows won the title again. In 4 years, Zungul would lead his team to 4 straight championships. In 1983, a trade to the Golden Bay Earthquakes and a favorable ruling by the U.S. Supreme Court meant Zungul could finally join the NASL. He first played in that year's NASL indoor season, scoring a league-leading 63 goals and adding 56 assists. And in 1984, playing outdoors on grass, Zungul netted 20 goals and 10 assists with the Earthquakes, earning MVP honors in what would be the league's final season. That outdoor season would be his only one in America, and again, he led that league in scoring. With the collapse of the NASL, Zungul returned to the MISL, playing for both the San Diego Sockers and the Tacoma Stars, and once again leading the league in goals while leading his teams to titles. When he retired in 1990, he had scored an astounding 715 indoor goals, while adding 527 assists. At a time when indoor soccer was the beating heart of the game in America, Zungul was the pulse. Many soccer fans look back at Steve Zungul's career and wonder what might have been, but what he accomplished on the turf of the MISL is proof that he stands unarguably as one of the greatest goal scorers to ever play in this country. And in 2023, Steve Zungul took his well-deserved place in the National Soccer Hall of Fame.
The National Soccer Hall of Fame is proud to recognize the first player inducted primarily for his contributions to the game playing indoors. Steve Zungul is unable to travel to be with us today to take part in the ceremony, but we will deliver his jacket and award to him at home and hope that he is able to visit us here in Frisco in the future. Kate Markgraf didn't just break onto the national scene ahead of the 1999 FIFA World Cup. Her strong play forced her way into the starting lineup for the most recognizable team in U.S. soccer history. From there, she was an automatic selection on the U.S. backline for the better part of a decade, starting 3 consecutive Olympics and 3 consecutive World Cups. Like so many of our Hall of Fame players, her contributions to the game have continued after her retirement as a player. As general manager of the U.S. women's national team, she's focused on the 2023 Women's World Cup in Australia and New Zealand, where the team begins its title defense in 76 days. But while we're all excited to watch what's to come, first, let's take a look back at Kate's Hall of Fame career.
A strong center back is the heart of a great defense. The best of them combine equal parts grit, athletic ability, and soccer IQ. Over a legendary career that spanned the better part of 2 decades, Kate Markgraf put these elements together better than just about anyone who has ever played the position. Born just outside of Detroit, Michigan, Markgraf was a natural athlete and divided her time in youth sports between soccer and volleyball. Her college career was spent with the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame, where she started every one of her 96 games. She was a 3-time All-American and a 3-time All-Big East selection. And in 1995, she helped the Irish win the university's first ever NCAA Women's Soccer Championship. After graduation in 1997, Markgraf joined the U.S. Women's National Team during the build-up to the 1999 FIFA Women's World Cup. She and Hall of Famer Carla Overbeck partnered on the back line, and they were the defensive force that helped the U.S. women raise the trophy at what still stands as one of the greatest World Cups ever held. She was also a key part of the 2003 and 2007 U.S. teams that finished third in both of those FIFA Women's World Cup tournaments. In Olympic competition, Margraf helped the U.S. women earn silver in Sydney in 2000 and followed that up with gold medals in both 2004 in Athens and 2008 in Beijing. For over 11 years, Margraf was a nearly automatic selection in the heart of the U.S. defense. The only exception to this was in 2006 and 2009, when she took time off to give birth to her children. Her 201 national team caps make her one of only a handful of players to make more than 200 appearances, and all of those players either are or will be Hall of Famers. Her leadership, fearlessness, and consistency were keys to every successful trophy run during her national team career. At the professional level, Margraf played for the Boston Breakers of the WUSA, the Michigan Hawks of the W League, and with the Chicago Red Stars of the WPS. Following her retirement from competition in 2010, Margraf worked as a broadcaster and analyst for ESPN, NBC, and Fox Sports. In 2019, Margraf once again joined the U.S. women's national team, this time as the first ever general manager, helping lead the next generation of U.S. women's soccer to greatness. Defenders are often the unsung heroes of great teams. They don't get the headlines, and the impact they make doesn't always show up in the record books. For Kate Margraf, her career and legacy are clear to see in the championships her teams won, and in the character she showed both on and off the pitch. And in 2023, Kate Margraf was inducted into the National Soccer Hall of Fame.
Many of us here today would be considered part of the extended U.S. soccer family with our various personal and professional ties to the game and today's honorees. Our next presenter was born into our U.S. soccer family, and during his early years, could often be found on the road with the U.S. women's national team. Please welcome Keegan Margraf, Kate's son, to present her for induction into the National Soccer Hall of Fame.
Good afternoon. It's been quite a few years since some of you have seen me on the Beijing medal stand in 2008. I definitely peaked when I was 2. I'm Keegan, the oldest of Kate's 3 children. Also here today are my dear siblings Carson and Xavier, who came along 3 years after me. At 16, it's difficult to recover after a full week of soccer practices. I'm still not sure how she managed to continue to compete and excel after 2 pregnancies and 3 kids. Moments like these are truly special, as we can reflect on all that went into my mom's accomplishments and acknowledge those who made her career possible. I want to thank Kate's family for the commitment they made to fostering her soccer career throughout her adolescence, her teammates for the lifelong emotional bonds and constant support raising her kids on the road, and her coaches, Chris Petroselli and Tony DeChica, who took a chance on her many years ago. My mom doesn't flaunt her successes. To this day, I don't know where she keeps her medals, and not a single item from her playing days is on display in our house. I never realized why, because obviously being an Olympian and a World Cup winner seemed pretty cool to me, until I understood that her journey was never about herself. It was her teammates and the experiences she shared with them that she cherished the most. Therefore, I decided there was no better way to commemorate my mom's career than to collect and share the memories of those she shared it with. Not to my surprise, I received 20 pages of heartfelt and hilarious feedback. Initially, I had no clue how I was going to cram pages upon pages of memories into a 5-minute speech. Then, an idea came to mind. A word cloud was the perfect way to bring to life the shared memories from those she shared, or from those she laughed, sweat, and celebrated with during her 13-year, 201 cap run on the U.S. Soccer Women's National Team, and I would love to share its contents with you. Her teammates, mentors, and friends described her as many things, but some of them included fearless champion, broken jaw, gamer, defender, impact, friend, human, leader, tough as nails, inspiration, selfless, competitive, excellence, amazing, caring mother, humble, and most of all, an incredible teammate. It's amazing how a few words can capture the persona of a competitor, core values of a person, and encompass the spirit of an exceptional human. I'm eternally thankful for the thoughts shared by her colleagues and teammates. I have a new perspective about Kate, my mom, as she continues to drive positive change for the women's game. Mom, we love you for everything you have done and will continue to do. Congratulations to all of the inductees, and at last, please join me in welcoming my mom, Kate Markgraf, up to the stage for induction into the U.S. Soccer Hall of Fame. Thank you.
Whew. Okay, trying not to cry when your oldest child gives a speech. Pretty happy. That was a feat, and that was a game I had in my head that I was going to win. I was not going to cry. But Keegan, thank you so much. You were up on the team for 4 years, and all the teammates that helped me raise them, and the players that came before that showed us how to do it, that it is a family. It's a family that's united by one common goal, to leave everything on the field and change it for the best. So Keegan, thank you so much for doing that. And for all my teammates that send him words, I can't wait to read the emails that Christine Lilly put together and sent to him. So to start off, thank you to Bjorn, the National Hall of Fame, for this induction and for being here. I didn't want to come. I'm not one that likes to talk about myself or have the spotlight on me. I want it on other people. It's just where I like to live. And but I realize it's not about me. It's about the people that help make this journey. So the most important part of this is how I got here, because I was definitely not the person that I ever thought I would be up here, nor many others when I was born or as I grew up. But I wouldn't be out here without my family and without my parents, who had this unshakable belief that I could do anything I ever wanted, as long as I put my mind to it. And to my brothers, I have 3 older brothers, who did not care I was a girl. They were the definition of equality people. Competitiveness, empathy, a couple broken bones, lots of swear words. I know every swear word in the book because of them at a young age. But more importantly, they gave me grace and confidence, and they always challenged me to be my best. So people these days pay thousands of dollars a year on personal trainers. You just need to grow up in my family with the Sobrero brothers. So Tim is here. I love you. Mom and Dad, I love you. And Jeff and Don, my other 2 brothers that are not here. Thank you. I would not be here without y'all. I also would not be out here and up here without the countless coaches who never let me quit on myself, who gave me chances and gave sunlight to the seed and hope that I could actually be here and that I could be great at the sport. The same goes for all my teammates, friends, and mentors, all of whom played a huge role in who I am today. You are all absolute maniacs, and I say that in the best way possible, in that you always push boundaries, you push to the edges, and you teach all of us how to do it. Lastly, I want to say thank you to my husband and my kids. Life is crazy, and I've had the joy of being on this team, but I wouldn't be here without the people that I love. So everyone at that table, I'm here because of you. And even though I met all of you and had you in my adult life, you guys, I do everything for you. So I hope I can make you proud, because you make me proud every day. So I wanted to get that out of the way, but I think it's interesting to hear how people's journeys begin and how they end up how they are as adults. I was not the girl that was the most promising. I was the last one picked on every team. I tried out for so many teams and never made them. because I was small. And that created this underdog spirit that no matter what, I was going to find a way to win. So that mental toughness came from learning strategies, trying them, failing miserably, crying, have my brothers and my parents pick me back up, and trying again. Then when I finally grew, because I was a late developer, I now had that mental toughness that I used to steel my spine. Because you have to build your will. You have to build a steel spine. It doesn't come naturally. So being small was the greatest gift I could have ever had. I was a late bloomer, and during my senior year in high school, in large part to Linda Hamilton, who is here today, who's one of my coaches, who said, I think you can do this. You're not a midfielder. You're not that great on the ball, but you're a defender. She was omniscient, wasn't she? But through her, Paul Cicluna, and others, I ended up getting recruited to Notre Dame on a partial scholarship. I was not a big-time recruit, and I went there. But I had such a good season that freshman year that I got invited to the national team. Now, this is my dream. Growing up, I had the 91 World Cup team on my wall, Mia Hamm, Michelle Akers, you name it. They are all legends, and they are all icons. Guess what? They're better humans off the field. The first thing you do when you go into the national team is you're asked to take a fitness test, which back then were cones. Well, I was so nervous, and I had strep, which I did not tell anyone because I didn't want to ruin my chance. I ran the first one in record time, and everyone's like, slow down, slow down, slow down. And I'm like, I got this. Yeah, right. Like I was on a high until I wasn't. And I passed out on the 8th one. And I woke up 30 minutes later and no one else was there. And for the rest of the 5 days in that camp, nobody spoke to me. And I hated these now women for that. But I hated them. Later, I learned that they felt I disrespected them by coming to their environment and not being prepared. But that's something that humiliation and that embarrassment was the first time that I had tried something as an underdog and I hadn't succeeded. And I did not know how to cope with that. So the next year, when college season started, I wanted to quit. I couldn't pass the ball 8 yards without it going out of bounds. So thankfully, my parents and Chris Petroselli, when I told them I wanted to quit, coach pulled me inside and goes, you can quit, just give me 8 weeks. My parents said, we'll pay for your scholarship, we'll cover the costs, but you gotta do and end the commitment that you agreed to. So I decided that it's 8 weeks, I'm gonna say goodbye to the game. But during that time, I finally got over like I had to be the best. And instead I got back to playing why I loved it. And I fell in love with the game again. And that was the biggest gift that could have ever happened. It wasn't that what you thought of me, it's what I thought about what I love to do and could I make other people better. That year, along with bad hair, who you saw with my mullet, with a little half up, half down, and my beautiful face that I always had when I played, because it was always one of determination. We ended up winning the national championship. I ended up being an MVP, and I got called up to the national team for the second time, which I refused. And I refused, and I refused, and I refused, because I wasn't ready to face that, and I didn't think I could do it. So I avoided it. So I kept getting called up to the national team for the next 3 years, and I wouldn't go in. My senior year, played great again. I get a call with a little bit of trickery by Tony DeChico, assisted by Lauren Gregg, to come in as an under 20 overage player and just help this young group out a little bit. And then you can go on your offices and get your job. And so I was like, okay, Detroit, holiday, snow, San Diego, I'll go there. I got picked up in the caravan with the under 20 team, didn't think anything of it. Went to Chula Vista, didn't think anything of it. All of a sudden I went to the locker room to start training with under 20s. Well, my stuff wasn't there. And I was like, okay, that's weird. So then all of a sudden the kit person goes, no, your stuff's down there with the senior team, because the women's national team was also training at the same time. So Lauren, God bless her, Lauren Gregg and Tony Chico, God bless him, tricked me because they knew I wouldn't get out of my own way. They tricked me and said, you're with the senior team. So what was I gonna do? I tried to come down with polio. I was trying to think of everything I could do to get out of that space as quick as possible, because imagine the most humiliating moment with these world icons and you failed. But I had no choice. I couldn't go anywhere. So I went to the locker room, and I swear to goodness, the music stopped. Like, it was like, ooh, there's that girl that passed out. But that time, The first day, we ran fitness, we did what we did, and I was one of the best out there. And I was like, all right. But then this is where the sport keeps you humble. 5 days later, because I was such a baller in my head at that point, and I'm a defender, but I decided to take people on, and I did, and I schooled the entire midfield, and I like had this sliding goal. Instead, I slid. Well, I did score, but I did slide in the goalkeeper and broke my jaw. And when I woke up for the second time, I passed out now in my first 2 camps. It was the greatest thing in the world because Michelle Akers, the greatest soccer player I think that has ever worn the U.S. jersey on the women's side, was holding my head with blood all over. And I woke up and I go, am I dreaming? And so she's like, and the first of many, because she ended up being one of my roommates when we were on the team together, all through 99. She's like, you're an idiot. So fast forward, and because of Tony, he called me up again because he saw something in me. He saw that thing that, I checked all these boxes, but there was something different. He thought I could help them win. So he called me up again and again. And in my 3rd camp, I started every single game, most of my career, except when I was pregnant. So when I got pregnant the second time, see how quick y'all are. I had 2 pregnancies and 3 kids. So the second pregnancy was twins. Surprise to me too. I played until 14 weeks and I hit 198 caps. However, after I gave birth, it seemed my time on the national team was done. I went from being a captain, a co-captain, to a complete outsider. And I struggled with my mental health. I wanted to retire after I'd given birth to the twins. And I planned on telling the coach at that time. So when she was making the call to hand out contracts, before I could say, hey, I'm going to retire. But I didn't have that time to tell her that. Because she told me I wasn't part of her plans, because she didn't think a woman that was on bed rest, that carried twins to term, who were 7 pounds and 7.8 pounds, yes, I remember every ounce, could ever come back and do that. See, at that time, the mothers before me, the pioneers of athlete moms, the originals, had secured nannies and maternity leave. But time to recover and return to play, and that opportunity hadn't been provided up until that point. So I had 2 choices. Our lawyer, John Langle, who is now a dear friend of mine, said, well, you could sue, or we could try to make this better for the next wave of moms. And so that's what I did. We were able to secure in every CBA moving forward what became conversationally known as the Markgraf rule, and probably the first organization in the sports world to do this, but in which if a woman wants to come back, she'll be given due time and the opportunity to do so. Yes. So, but after this pregnancy protection was provided for now, years to come, and now we see corporations doing it all over, I was angry and I was pissed. Sorry, language, I know. I decided not to retire, and I wanted to give it one more time because I had a daughter now. I had boy-girl twins. And I was like, this isn't right. So for myself, just like those 8 weeks in college, I ended up playing for the Chicago Red Stars, and I had a great season. And Pia called me. She's like, I want you to bring you in. I'm like, I'm not going in. I'm gonna bring you in. I'm like, I'm not going in. And then Emma Hayes, who was our coach at the time, benched me until I would go in with the national team. Tough love. I guess this is like a theme you guys are seeing, this tough love. So I ended up going in, and I played so well, I got playing time, 199 cap. Next camp, I got called back in, 2 more caps, 201. And at this point in time, Pia called me into her office and said, I want to offer you a contract. And I just said, no, thank you. I'm retiring. I don't want anything. Don't talk about it. I don't want a game. I'm just done. I've done what I've wanted to do. So thankfully, I got the biggest gift of all, and I left the game on my own terms. So thank you. So looking back, here are some of the things about me that I think I want my kids to hear. So this is why I'm sharing it with you, is y'all got to live on the edge of discomfort. I had the privilege of moving 7 times before 7th grade. That sucks. Like making new friends, always being the new kid, always being really small, being the kid that wore a headgear all through middle school because you thought it was cool. No, that's not cool, by the way. So you learn to have humor, but you also learn the strategies that you're going to survive, You have to figure out a way to get what you want, even though the odds are stacked against you. And I thank my brothers for helping me through that, for always being the person I can kick the ball with in the backyard. So that helped me build my steel spine. You cannot have a steel spine without failure and challenges. So go seek it, go run for it, and chase them down. The second thing is the what. What did I want? Well, I wanted to be on the national team. I wanted to be on the U.S. women's national team. I wanted to win World Cups. I wanted to win Olympics. But that hope and those dreams, they're the Band-Aids for when hell hits, right? And the hell, regardless of what it is, you need something to always drive you forward. So that was the what, and that's the glue that gets you to wake up every day and try again. So the where is the environment, whether it's the brothers in the backyard, but find the people that hate complacency as much as you do. Find complacency-hating warriors. You are the product of the culture and the company you keep. The woman that came before on the women's national team, the icons, April, the people that created the USA USA Ah, they're the ones that started it all. And they are the reason why I'm here today. What they did instill is what people have talked about. You leave everything on the field at all times. And you may not get paid for it, and maybe now you do. But more importantly, you build a team that you will hold yourself accountable, will say naughty swear words to your face when you have a bad day and tell you to get over it. But you know what? You get up the next day. And when you really struggle and have the self-doubts, like Tony DeChico, like Chris Petrocelli, guess what? All of a sudden they get you through it, and then now you're doing it for others. The how did I do this? Wasn't the best player in the world, didn't have the best touch. Oh no, Cindy can speak to that. Actually, probably April can too, because she coached me as well. But more importantly, I had something that is that it factor. You can count on me. And that comes from confidence. To me is not thinking I'm better than anyone else. So I actually hate the word confidence because I think it's mistitled. Confidence is a self-belief that you can contribute, and you will show up even when you don't want to, and you're going to do everything you can to leave it on the field, make it better, and let other people also be successful with you. And the last thing is the why. Your why will be contagious if it's a bigger purpose than your own ego and your own self-dream. My why was making sure, like a magnet, I pushed people with me, and I honored those that pulled me up with them. So that push and pull, that's natural tension, a magnet, is why I'm here today. And because they showed me something greater. And I hope that everyone else, especially my kiddos, find your why, huns. Because guess what? You'll be greater than you could ever imagine, and it's worth it through all the struggle. So thank you for this amazing honor. Congratulations to the other inductees. You guys are all legends. I've got to play with some of you. I've got to be inspired by all of you, and I continue to cheer you on in what you do in your pursuits off the field. Thank you for making the game great and help pushing the evolution on. And thank you to everyone else for this moment, for making me come and talk about myself. Nothing I'll ever want to do again, just letting you know. But thank you all, and I love the Markgraf Sobrero clan with all my heart. Thank you.
Congratulations, Kate. And we've got another 10-minute intermission, our last intermission. And when we come back, that is, we will recognize the 3 inductees elected on the 2023 player ballot. Thank you. to introduce this upcoming video. You could not write a script like this.
The greatest goal scorers can change a game with a single moment of magic. Landon Donovan's career was packed full of those moments for both club and country. And the stats and numbers prove that he stands as one of, if not the greatest player to ever wear the Stars and Stripes. Donovan was born in soccer-mad Southern California, where he played youth soccer with local club Cal Heat before joining the U.S. Soccer Under-17 residency program. At the 1999 FIFA U17 World Cup, he earned the Golden Ball Award, the only U.S. male player to win that award in any FIFA competition. In 1999, Donovan started his professional career by signing with German giants Bayer Leverkusen. After 2 seasons in Germany, Leverkusen loaned Donovan back to America and the San Jose Earthquakes. The impact was instant. In 2001, he led the Earthquakes to the MLS Cup title, the team's first ever MLS championship. And in 2003, Donovan and the Earthquakes did it again. In his 4 seasons in San Jose, he scored 41 goals and added 35 assists in just 101 games. 2 of those goals made the difference in the 2003 MLS Cup final against Chicago Fire. After a brief return to Leverkusen, Donovan came back to Major League Soccer, but this time much closer to home. He joined LA Galaxy in 2005 and led the Blue and Gold to both the MLS Cup Championship and the Lamar Hunt US Open Cup title. Donovan's Galaxy teams were nothing short of dominant. They would go on to win MLS Cup championships in 2011, 2012, and 2014, along with the Supporters' Shield honors in 2011 and 2012. Over the course of his professional career, Donovan would score 161 regular season goals in 412 appearances. 13 times he was chosen an MLS All-Star. 7 times he was selected to the league's annual Best 11. Twice he was named the MLS Cup MVP, and in 2015, Major League Soccer renamed the league's most valuable player trophy, the Landon Donovan MVP Award. Quite simply, Landon Donovan was the star of American pro soccer for the better part of 2 decades. And while Donovan's MLS career was Hall of Fame worthy, what he did with the U.S. men's national team is the stuff of legend. He made his FIFA World Cup debut in 2002 and helped lead the U.S. to a shocking upset win over powerhouse Portugal. He added goals against Poland and Mexico and was named the best young player at that tournament. At the 2010 FIFA World Cup in South Africa, his goals helped the USA finish at the top of their group for the first time in 80 years. And his goal against Algeria provided one of the most dramatic moments in World Cup history.
Landon Donovan, there are things on here for the USA. Can they do it here? Cross, and Dempsey's denied again, and Donovan has scored! Oh, can you believe this? Go, go, USA!
In CONCACAF action, Donovan was unstoppable. His USA teams won Gold Cups in 2002, 2005, 2007, and 2013. He was the top scorer in 3 of those tournaments, and he remains the all-time leading goal scorer in the competition. When the final whistle blew on his 157 national team career appearances, he had netted a then record 57 goals and added 58 assists, a record that may never be broken. But Landon Donovan's career can't just be measured with stats and numbers. What he meant to both professional soccer and to this country's national team can never be understated. And in 2023, Landon Donovan was welcomed into the National Soccer Hall of Fame.
The player videos are great. Landon's gone on to work in broadcasting. We've had the chance to work together at Fox many times. He's doing wonderful in that area in his post-playing career as well. So please welcome now Richard Motzkin to the stage to present Landon Donovan for induction into the National Soccer Hall of Fame.
Man, that video was great. I should just use that as my speech and be done. So great job on who's ever putting those videos together. I want to first start by congratulating all the inductees in this year's amazing class of Hall of Famers. I have had the privilege of working with or knowing most everyone being inducted today, and it truly is an honor to have witnessed what each of you have accomplished and meant to our sport. In one of my first conversations with Landon in the fall of 1998, I asked him who were his favorite athletes, and without hesitation, he replied, Magic Johnson and Wayne Gretzky. I asked him why, and Landon said because they are great teammates, they are winners, they are LA heroes, and they changed the sports of basketball and hockey for the better in the US. As I thought about this answer earlier this week, the parallels to what Landon has accomplished for his teams, his cities, his country, and his sport are remarkably similar to those two legends. Teammate. To be a great teammate, a person has to be selfless. They have to care about others. They have to do all the little things when the camera is off and to help create the right culture. For me, Landon's value as a teammate was never more clearly demonstrated than the leadership role he took in multiple CBA negotiations with both MLS and US Soccer. In the beginning of 2010, Landon was on loan to Everton FC of the English Premier League, where he'd just been named Player of the Month. At the same time, MLS and the players were locked in a contentious negotiation over the expired CBA, and the league was on the brink of its first ever work stoppage. Not only was Landon up during all hours of the night in Manchester, participating in every call, but Landon decided to come back to the States in March, end his loan, and spend the final week with the negotiating committee to get a new CBA done. Not many players would have sacrificed their personal success in this fashion, but as someone who understood that a functional relationship between labor and management was crucial for the growth of the sport, Landon stepped up for all his teammates in that critical moment. Winner. To be a winner, a person has to work hard, sacrifice, strive for excellence, and innovate. When one looks at Landon's career, he has held all types of records on every team on which he has played. To me, the stat that distinguishes him most from every other player is that not only was he all-time leader in goals and assists for the U.S. men's national team, but as the video so aptly described, he did it with almost an identical number of goals, 57, and assists, 58, over the course of his career. This speaks so clearly as to who Landon is as a player and who he is as a person. Simply put, Landon always was willing to adapt and do whatever was necessary to win, whether it was to be the goal scorer, the setup man, or, if need be, filling in on defense to help close out an important victory. Hometown hero. To be a hero in one city, a person needs to have a true love for and desire to make a difference in their hometown. In the early 2000s, MLS was in its infancy. Every top American player was going to Europe, and Landon was the country's biggest soccer star after being voted the best young player of the tournament at the 2002 FIFA World Cup. Despite the multiple foreign club opportunities Landon had, and despite the strong opinions of what others thought he should do, Landon realized that what mattered most to him was being back in LA, playing in front of family and friends, and winning championships for his local team. And by prioritizing his happiness and his connection to his roots, Landon helped bring 4 MLS Cup championships to his city while making the Galaxy the first super club in MLS. Pioneer. To be a pioneer, a person needs to have vision and courage to take a position, even if it's one that is uncomfortable or goes against the status quo. Like his 1999 US teammates, many of whom are here today, and a special shout out to Bees, it's so appropriate you guys are going in together. Landon left the confines of his home as a teenager to live in Bradenton, Florida to pursue his dreams. When it came time to turn pro, Landon chose Bayer Leverkusen, being the first and only player from that special U17 team to start their careers overseas. Later, when no player who had international opportunities wanted to play in this country, Landon did. When the media wanted to speak with a player, Landon volunteered to do so in both English and Spanish. When the fans wanted autographs, Landon stayed hours after every game to make sure no one went home empty-handed. And when his clever country needed a big goal, like in the dying seconds of the Algeria game, you could count on Landon to come through. Landon did it all with class, he did it all with grace, and he did it all via his performance, without ever seeking the spotlight. It just naturally found him. Pibe, it's been an amazing journey together over the past 25 years. We shared countless memories together. You have grown from a brash, blonde-haired dyed teenager to a thoughtful, humble, and compassionate person who changed our sport in ways neither of us could have imagined. I'm so proud of you, and know that when the Mount Rushmore of legendary athletes who changed their sport is built, you will share a deserved spot with your childhood heroes, Magic Johnson and Wayne Gretzky. So, on behalf of the Donovan and Motzkin families, it gives me the greatest pleasure to call you up to the stage for your induction into the National Soccer Hall of Fame.
Okay. Hi, guys. My wife told me to wear a white shirt, and I decided on the pink purple, and now it clashes with the red. So the moral is always listen to your wife. Jordan, thank you for all you've done to put this together. Being on the other side of the game, you realize how hard things like this are to put together. And I can't imagine how much work you and your staff have put in. So thank you guys so much. It's been really special for me and my family, and I think everyone shares those thoughts. So thank you. Clark and Dan, this is incredible, what you guys have built here. And we're all grateful that we get this memory. There's a lot of other memories we all see on the screen, but this is something that holds a little extra special place because we get to share it with the people we love. So thank you. And congrats again to your Chiefs. Hard for me to say being a Raider fan, but congrats to your Chiefs. Celine and Grant's family, I'm sorry. And I'm going to talk a lot about what this game has taught me, but you guys taught me a lot about bravery today. So thank you for being here. Appreciate it. So as I reflected over the last few months, I just thought about what this game has taught me. And literally since the time I could walk, this game has been teaching me lessons. My first teacher and coach was Joshi, my brother. When I could start walking, he was so bored out of his mind at home that he wanted someone to play with, and he started kicking the ball with me. And I wouldn't be here today if he had chosen another sport or something else. And so thank you. You were my first teacher, mentor, playmate, and ultimately brother. So thank you. The next lesson I learned in this game came when I was, I think, 6 or 7 years old. Mom, you can correct me. I got in trouble at school. I had a bit of a troubling childhood. And that weekend, I was set to play against my best friend's team. And I was so excited because I wanted to smash them. And my mom, after getting in trouble at school, told me that I wasn't allowed to play in the game that weekend. And it devastated me. So the day of the game, I woke up and she said, all right, let's get in the car. We're going to the game. And I said, yes. She changed her mind. Yes. We went to the game, and she sat me on the sideline and made me watch the game. Cruel from a woman who doesn't have a cruel bone in her body. But it taught me a really important lesson that I carried throughout my career. Anytime I didn't start a match and I was on the bench, I fought like hell to get back in the team because I didn't want to sit and watch again, and it always resonated with me. My mom taught special ed for 30 years, so she certainly knew how to teach a kid a lesson, and she did. My next lesson in this sport came when I was 15. I was talking to my dad one day about how great I was. I just got called into the national team, the youth national team. I was going to go in and be the best men's player ever, and blah, blah, blah. And my dad calmly said, Landon, you're not invincible. I remember he used that word. You're not invincible. You need to stay humble and keep doing what's gotten you here, or else it might not work out the way you want. And I said, whatever, Dad, I'm 15. I know what I'm talking about. So the day before I was supposed to go into camp, I think you'll remember this, Coach, I was playing a club game on a Sunday with my youth club team. And I went sliding into a challenge that I hadn't slide tackled in my life. Probably didn't ever in my career either. And as I slid, I heard pop, pop. My ankle snapped in 2 places. And I thought, that's it. I think my chance is gone. And it taught me an early lesson in humility, and also that our parents know a little more than we think they do. My next lesson came actually when I went to camp for the first time, and that's where I met Bees for the first time. Bees taught me a couple lessons. He taught me how to play cards and dice. And he also taught me that you shouldn't play cards and dice with Bees or you lose your per diem. I think I paid for your daughter's college with my per diem, buddy. The next lesson I learned, and you all will know this, my 17's teammates, thanks for being here, guys, was from Coach. And he had a phrase that we stood by everywhere we went, and it was respect everyone, but fear no one. And it was really important for us because we were the first residency group, and we were brash and cocky, and he had to bring us back down to life and make sure we respected everyone, but we didn't fear anyone. And I'll just say, Coach, that lesson stayed with me my entire life. I never, ever, ever went into a game fearing an opponent or a player, ever. Well, maybe Messi and Ronaldo, but other than that, nobody else. And I appreciate that. Next lessons I learned were the power of a moment. And the 2010 moment against Algeria, how powerful that was. It taught me to take advantage of opportunities. I happened to be in the right place at the right time. We took advantage of an opportunity to grow the sport in a really fast way, something that would have taken years and years. We were able to do like that in one moment. And so that was a lesson that I took away from that time, to make sure that when you get an opportunity, you take it and you don't let it go. That moment also taught me that weekends in Vegas were a lot more fun after producing a moment like that in a World Cup. So I'll leave it at that. In 2013, I learned a really vital lesson about soccer. And that was that it's not as important as I thought it was. It's just a game, after all. I was really, really tired from 15 straight years of year-round soccer. Basically, December through January, with a couple weeks off, I was playing soccer. And I was in a really bad place mentally. I was really depressed. And I knew that if I didn't take a break, I was going to crumble. And so I went to Cambodia, spent a few weeks there, and had the ability to reset so that I could play the last 2 years on my terms. And that was really important for me. In a crazy twist of fate, I also met 2 weeks before I went to Cambodia, the love of my life, Hannah. And she also taught me that soccer wasn't that important. A few weeks into our dating, I convinced her to watch a U.S. World Cup qualifier against Honduras on TV. It was in Honduras at like 3 p.m. on some miserable day in Honduras. And I said, you're going to love this. You're going to love this. It's U.S. Honduras qualification at stake. You're going to love this. So sit down, just give me a chance to help you fall in love with this game that she'd never watched before. So 3 minutes into the game, I'm like drilled into the game, and I look over and I'm like, babe, what do you think? She had a magazine up in front of her face. She was already bored out of her mind. So it was a good reminder that it wasn't all that important. My next lesson that this beautiful game taught me was a really important one and really powerful one. So in 2014, I got left off the World Cup team. And I walked into the locker room, into the stalls in the bathroom, and started crying. And a few minutes later, the door opened. Bees walked in. Michael Bradley walked in. Kyle Beckerman walked in. And they sat there and consoled me. And a few weeks later, I was lying in bed and I was just thinking about the whole moment. I had a really hard 2 weeks after that. It was hard for me. And I was thinking about how grateful I was that Bees, Michael, and Kyle walked in. And Bees and Michael in that moment had found out that they were going to yet another World Cup. And how grateful I was that they put their arm around me. But then I was thinking about Kyle, and I wish he was here today because I've never said this to him. But I was thinking about Kyle. So Kyle's 32 years old at that time. He was on our 17s with us, had an amazing pro career, but he never had gone to a World Cup. And so this was his last chance to go to a World Cup. And he was in there in that moment, putting his arm around me and consoling me. I'd already been at 3 World Cups. I'd been one of the faces of U.S. soccer and a star for a long time. But in U.S. soccer terms, he was relatively unknown. And he had just found out in that moment, the biggest accomplishment of his pro career, that he was going to a World Cup. And in that moment, he instead came over to me and put his arm around me and consoled me. And as I was thinking about it, I thought, well, Landon, how many times have you taken a moment to put your arm around someone else? And I had a hard reality, 0, never. I'd never done it. And so as much as I would have loved to have gone to another World Cup, that moment of learning compassion to that level was way, way, way more powerful. I'm almost done, Jordan, don't worry. Now as a dad of 3 and having coached for a couple years, I've learned the power of being selfless. And that's what this game has now taught me, is how to be selfless. I get great joy in that. It's hard, but I get great joy in it. And it's allowed me to move on to a different chapter of my life where I'm trying now to help other people and give back to this game that's given so much to me. I'll finish on a few lessons from my loved ones over here. Rich, you've taught me countless lessons. One important one early on when I thought I was really cool was I came home, you know this story. I came home from Leverkusen one weekend and Rich let me drive his car around town. Who knows what I was doing. And when I dropped it back off, I went to the airport, went back to Leverkusen. I got a call from Rich. I said, hey, Rich, what's up? He said, let me tell you something, Landon. If you ever leave my car empty on gas and dirty again, I will not represent you anymore. Okay? And while it was an important moment on face value, it told me that Rich didn't care how good I was or how special I was as a player, that you don't treat people that way. And that was a valuable lesson I took with me throughout. Joshua, you taught me the importance of play. I just love playing. And all we did was play. And I see it in my boys now. Not allowed inside during daytime. They got to be outside playing. And the lessons that taught me and taught us have been so valuable. So thank you. Hannah, I know you love the spotlight. You taught me how to truly love. Marriage is hard. Having kids is hard. But when you have deep love for the other person, you get through it, and it's hard, but it's beautiful too. Trissy, lastly, second to last. Mom, you'll be last. Triss, you also taught me that soccer is not that important throughout our time together. We were in the womb together. We're twins, Kate, by the way. So we were in the room together, or in the womb together, and you never cared about anything I did on a soccer field. You just wanted your brother around, and that was never more evident than Triss called me one afternoon. She said, Lanny, where are you? And I said, in LA. And she said, I really miss my brother. Can you just come home? I really miss you. And I said, Triss, the MLS Cup finals tonight that I'm playing in? She had no idea. All right, last, Mom. Now that I have kids, they play sports. And youth sports is a disaster. And the parents on the sidelines drive me crazy. And when you have kids, obviously you learn lessons about your parents that are powerful. All you ever did was sit at the end of the sideline, never said a word. You just watched me, and you taught me the most important thing you can say to your kids when they come off a field. She said, "I love watching you play." That's all you said. And you let me enjoy this game and love it to a point where I could be standing here today. And I'm so grateful. Thank you. I love you. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Congratulations, Landon. Rarely do the greatest athletes of all time get a chance to end their playing careers on their own terms and retire as a champion. Lauren Holiday started for the U.S. women's national team for 4 consecutive world championship events, winning 3 titles. In the first seasons of the brand new NWSL, she won the Golden Boot, the Most Valuable Player Award, and a league title as the championship game MVP. And in 2015, following the U.S. women's national team's World Cup title, she decided at the age of 28 to hang up her cleats and move on to make her impact in other ways.
Hall of Famers are many things. They're leaders on the field and off. They're competitors who fight to the final whistle. And they make every player around them better. Lauren Cheney Holiday is the perfect example of what a Hall of Famer should be. Growing up in Indianapolis, she quickly discovered a love of soccer. Until the age of 12, she played on local boys' teams and was a dominant force for Ben Davis High School. She joined the U.S. Women's Under-20 national team in 2005 and competed in the 2006 FIFA U20 Women's World Cup. Holiday played her college soccer at powerhouse UCLA. She was the first Bruins player to earn first-team All-America honors 4 years in a row. Her Bruins teams played in the NCAA College Cup every season. When it came time for her to join the U.S. women's national team, Holiday was every bit as clutch. She helped lead the team to gold at both the 2008 Beijing and 2012 London Olympic Games, where she played every game. Holiday was also at the heart of the midfield for both the 2011 and 2015 FIFA Women's World Cup tournaments. In 2011, she started all 6 games, delivering key goals and assists to help the U.S. women reach the final against Japan. The U.S. would end up losing that match in a penalty shootout, leaving Holiday with unfinished business 4 years later in Canada. At that 2015 tournament, Holiday and her teammates were on a mission, and destiny would see them face off against Japan yet again in the final. Her 14th-minute goal gave the U.S. a 3-0 lead on their way to a dominant 5-2 victory. After raising the World Cup trophy in Vancouver, Holiday retired from international competition with 24 goals in 133 caps. Her professional career included stops in the W League, the WPS, and the NWSL. She won the league's Golden Boot Award as the top scorer and was named the NWSL MVP. The following year, she helped lead Kansas City to the league championship with a 2-1 victory over Seattle Reign. And in 2015, in what would be her final professional season, Holiday's team repeated as league champions, once again beating the Reign to raise the hardware. Even in retirement, soccer is a big part of Holiday's life, as she was an investor in the NWSL's expansion into Los Angeles with Angel City FC. She's also extremely active off the field and giving back to her communities. The true measure of a player's greatness is in what they do on the field and the legacy they leave off of it. In every way, Lauren Cheney Holiday is as deserving a Hall of Famer as there could be. And in 2023, Lauren Cheney Holiday was inducted into the National Soccer Hall of Fame.
It's my honor to invite Lauren's mother, Rita Cheney, to the stage to present Lauren for induction into the National Soccer Hall of Fame.
Wow. Okay, I'm Rita Cheney. I'm Lauren's mom. I'm honored to be here today. A little nervous. We've got a lot of people out there rooting for me who've been telling me, you got this, mama. Anyway, thank you. Anyway, this has been a really amazing afternoon, just hearing the stories, the inspirational things I didn't know about so many of these people. I'm just honored to hear it, and congratulations to every one of you. Another thing that's really impressed me here is, as a presenter here today, how good you've all been. I've been really nervous sitting there thinking, should I change my line? Should I change my speech? But I'm not going to. You've done a great job. Thank you for inspiring me. Like some of you here, we toured the Hall of Fame before this event, and it is surreal to see your daughter in the Hall of Fame, in her jersey out there, and lined up with those other legends, some of her childhood idols, some of her former teammates, and all the legends that are here, in this Hall of Fame. It's amazing. She's in really good company for sure. When we heard the news about Lauren's induction, we were really thrilled. Lauren will tell you that her dad and I are just probably her super fans. Dad's got every jersey that she's ever had, so if the Hall of Fame needs a new one, we've got them, and they're totally signed. We'd be happy to give it up. Our family has known how much hard work, sacrifice, and grit Lauren has put into this game, and we were pleased as can be that the Hall of Fame finally recognized it too. So we're excited to have her here. This success is really a true testament to who Lauren is as a person too. As you saw on the film, Lauren has done a lot on the field and tons off the field too. That's who she is. She's a giver. One little thing that Jill had said about Lily when she was little, Lauren loved Lily. And I remember her coming home one day, and Lily had said that her name was Lily Cheney Stevenson. And they couldn't convince her otherwise. So yeah, so Lauren loved Lily at that time too. The journey for Lauren also came with a lot of disappointments along the way, not only on the field, but personally too. Like the time Lauren wasn't chosen to go to a regional camp. So some of you guys who've gone through the youth soccer leagues knows how competitive it can be. And she didn't get chosen to go. So we listened to a Gloria Estefan song for hours upon hours while she laid in her bed with the blanket over her head, trying to regroup from this rejection. I never want to hear that song again. Let me just tell you. It was a long afternoon all the way around. So despite the occasional setbacks in her soccer career or her personal life, where she has received so much support from her husband and her kids and all of us, Lauren has always had it strong in her convictions, always strong in her faith, and she's not a quitter. She'll tell you that's what Mom always told her. She would call and say, Mom, I don't want to do this anymore. And I'd like, you're not a quitter. You got this. Keep going. And I think I might have heard that from a couple people about doing this speech. Anyway, she overcame her hurdles, and her induction is well-deserved. I'd like to close this with a message I got from one of her good friends, Heather O'Reilly. Heather said, Lauren was the heart and soul of the U.S. Women's National Team for many years. She was our quarterback. She was smooth on the ball and in her vision. She made those around her look good. Off the field, she's compassionate and empathetic individual who thinks of others before herself. She goes to bat for the things she believes in and doesn't back down. I'm happy that Lauren was in my corner as a teammate and now as my friend. I really think Heather's words sum up everything about my daughter, and I am proud to present my daughter, Lauren Cheney Holliday, to the 2023 class of the Hall of Fame.
Thank you, Mom, for such a beautiful introduction. Before I get started, I am going to tell a story. So my first ever national team camp, Kate Markgraf was there, and it was in Portland, and it was unbearably hot, like 98 degrees every day. I was a senior in high school, and I also fainted on like the 6th or 7th day. And Kate so lovingly came up to me and said, "Hey, don't worry. I fainted on my first national team camp too, and I didn't come back for 4 years." So Kate, I love you. Thank you for that inspiration. I needed it. It didn't take me 4 years. So yeah, thank you to the National Soccer Hall of Fame for having us here today. I'm incredibly humbled and honored to be welcomed into the Hall of Fame. When I think about the journey that's gotten me to this point, it has truly been nothing short of a miracle. But what has made it even more beautiful is that soccer became the thing to bring everything full circle in my life. When I was recovering from open heart surgery at 3 years old, my doctor suggested that my parents put me in sports to help rebuild my strength. Being the no-nonsense child that I was, I immediately got to work. I followed my brother Aaron and wanted to play and compete with him and everything. But when I found soccer, I fell in love. The day my parents gifted me my first kickback, I know y'all know what that is, a ball on a string, my life was changed forever. For months, wherever you saw me, there it was. As you might imagine, I was quite a pain to take to the grocery store, but it never left my side. My family and friends will be the first to tell you how competitive I am. And with soccer, there was no difference. When I played, it was about more than just winning. For me, it was everything. And it still is, even in cards, even if my husband and I fight. I still want to win. But in my heart, I know nothing else could have better prepared me to face the biggest battle of my life. Six years ago, while pregnant with my daughter, we found out I would have to undergo brain surgery. It was single-handedly the hardest thing I ever had to go through. Unlike the toughest moments I'd endured in sports, I couldn't work or train my way out of it. I had to come to terms with the fact that I'd never be fast enough to outrun the fear of leaving my family too soon. At times, the weight of waiting felt unbearable, but it was in these moments that I realized soccer had prepared me for this. When I would run fitness, I would figure out the exact timing I would need to accomplish my goal. And I would tell myself while running, you can do anything for a minute. You can do anything for 2 minutes. Hell, on the beep test, you can do anything for 12 minutes, but you got to get to level 20, So I could do that over and over. And waiting to deliver my daughter and 4 weeks later have surgery, I'd break up the waiting with the belief that all I had to do was to get through the next hour or the next 10 minutes. And I would repeat Psalm 30, verse 5. There may be pain in the night, but joy comes in the morning. And each time I repeated this to myself, I found the strength to keep going. Soccer teaches us that every season has its ending. It also teaches us that the work we do after this ending can, in many ways, be the catalyst for our strongest comeback yet. The sheer will to show up for ourselves, even on our darkest days, can transform our life in the most powerful ways. Every day, the work we do, on and off the field, to fight for our fellow players can make it seem like the joy will never come. Trust me, I know. But the strides that we make as we fight for gender pay equity, the safety of our fellow players, and the next generation of women's soccer, it makes the wait worth it. So keep showing up, fighting, and taking up space. And every time you do, remember, the joy will come. My life continues to be a testament to the love, hard work, and joy I've not only received from God, my family, loved ones, and the community, but also from the game that shaped my very being. To my family, my mom, my dad, my sister, thank you for being my biggest influences. This is just as much yours as it is mine. To my husband, like, I don't even have the words, but from college to now and forever, I love you with all my heart. And to my children, JT, I know you hear me. Look at me. Hey, girl. Thank you for saving my life. You and Hendrix give me so much life every day just watching you grow. And to my coaches, especially Dave Holmer, Dennis Trent, Tim Schultz, Steve Swanson, and Vlatko Andonovsky, I owe you so much of who I've become to your teachings. To my forever teammates, all of you, thank you for supporting me, showing me the ropes, Kate, and keeping me grounded. To my fellow inductees, congratulations, DeMarcus. Two Indiana people, like who would have thought, but congratulations. And yeah, and to and also to my Bruins and beyond coach Jill. We've been through so much together. I appreciate you so much. Kate, you're my Beijing teammate. Now you're my neighbor. Our kids go to the same school. And to Hope Solo, I'm so happy to see you. I know you're not here anymore, but I love you. It's just so nice to be reunited under circumstances. Congratulations. And to the fans, our peers, and those in the media, and to the historians who voted, contributed to this honor, thank you for not only recognizing one of my favorite talents, but also sharing in one of my greatest joys. Thank you so much.
Congratulations, Lauren. Lovely speech. Enjoyed it very, very much. Our final inductee from the class of 2023 is DeMarcus Beasley, the first American man to play in 4 World Cups. One of the most successful U.S. players to go abroad in the 2000s and the first American to play at a UEFA Champions League semifinal. He also made his mark domestically, winning an MLS Cup and 3 Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cups with Chicago Fire and Houston Dynamo. Another product of the U.S. Under-17 residency program and the 1999 Under-17 World Cup, where he won the silver ball as the second best player, Beasley and Landon Donovan's careers remain intertwined as MLS All-Stars and U.S. men's national team stalwarts. Please turn your attention to the video screens one final time as we recap a career that spanned 126 national team caps and more than 400 professional appearances.
From humble beginnings in Fort Wayne, Indiana, to becoming the first American man to play in 4 FIFA World Cups, the story of DeMarcus Beasley's soccer life is one of hard work, obstacles overcome, and a dedication to the beautiful game itself. DeMarcus and his brother Jamar spent their youth soccer days traveling around the Midwest, playing with club teams and building their skills. In 1998, DeMarcus left Indiana to join the United States Soccer Federation's residency program in Bradenton, Florida. There, alongside future stars like Landon Donovan and Oguchi Onyewu, Beasley took his game to a new level. His professional career began with Major League Soccer in 2000. After a preseason trade from LA Galaxy landed him with Chicago Fire, Beasley scored 14 goals and added 20 assists in 4+ seasons with the Fire, and was named to the MLS Best 11 in 2003. His Fire teams also raised the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup in 2000 and 2003, and won the MLS Supporters Shield in 2003. Then in 2004, Beasley was sold to Dutch super club PSV Eindhoven of the Eredivisie. He played in 56 matches with the Ruud Witten, scoring 10 goals, winning 2 league titles and a League Cup. Beasley also made 15 UEFA Champions League appearances for PSV, scoring 3 goals, adding 1 assist, and becoming the first American to play in a Champions League semifinal match. After a brief stint with English Premier League giants Manchester City, Beasley landed with Rangers of the Scottish Premier League. In 3 seasons at Ibrox, his teams won 2 league titles, 2 Scottish Cups, and 2 Scottish League Cups. Beasley made stops in Germany and Mexico before returning to Major League Soccer in 2014 with the Houston Dynamo. In 5 seasons, he helped lead the Dynamo to the 2018 Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup and was named an MLS All-Star in 2015 and 2017. Wearing the stars and stripes of the U.S. men's national team, Beasley earned a remarkable 126 caps and scored 17 goals. His first FIFA World Cup came in 2002, playing all 3 group stage matches and helping the USA reach the quarterfinals. In 2006, his cross led to a beautiful Clint Dempsey goal against Ghana, providing one of the tournament's highlight moments for the Stars and Stripes. And at the 2014 tournament, he played all 4 matches, becoming the first U.S. man to play in 4 FIFA World Cups. He was also a rock in midfield and defense for the U.S. at the CONCACAF Gold Cup, helping the team raise trophies in 2002, 2005, 2007, and 2013. It began with 2 brothers just kicking a ball around a backyard in Indiana. But what DeMarcus Beasley accomplished on the field for club and country is an inspiration, encouraging kids from all backgrounds to live their own soccer dreams. And in 2023, DeMarcus Beasley was inducted into the National Soccer Hall of Fame.
I think this part is really cool. Today we've had a son as a presenter, we've had a husband as a presenter, we've had a mom as a presenter, and it's my honor to invite DeMarcus's father, Henry Beasley, to the stage to present DeMarcus for induction into the National Soccer Hall of Fame.
Watching that, I need to take a second. I was at all of those events that you saw up there, and it brings back lots of memories, lots of memories. Wow, what a day. First, I would like to congratulate all of the inductees and their families and friends for coming today. When this soccer journey started, I had no idea that I would be standing here today inducting my son into the Soccer Hall of Fame. Now, you only gave me 5 minutes, and I see there's a clock down here. And my son always told me that I talk too much. So I'll try to keep it short. I have to say, when he retired, he and his mom and I were sad because we loved watching him play all over the world, and he made sure that we were at every event that he was in. We soon realized, though, that the end was just the beginning of his next chapter. Many may not know this, but I was his first soccer coach, kinda. When they fell in love with soccer, I bought a soccer ball, and I thought it would, make them go outside and play ball, But what I didn't understand was what got broken in the house, and nobody knew anything. Nobody knew anything at all. Many fun times with Jamar, DeMarcus, and I had playing soccer in the backyard. And even their cousin Devon would play with us, and it was always competition between them. His brother and playing against Devon. At an early age, DeMarcus fell in love with soccer. But he was also a very good baseball player and a basketball player. And I got to tell you the story. Bear with me. He was a catcher on the baseball team. Now, this thing they have that they put down there on the catcher? It was bigger than him. But anyway, he was a catcher. And the play was coming in, and it was the last out we needed to win the game. And this kid was coming, and I mean, he was running. He was barreling down. And DeMarcus was waiting on the ball to come. So he stands in front of the plate, which is, I guess, what you're taught. And this kid was about 3 sizes the size of DeMarcus. So anyway, boom, cloud of dust and everything. But what we saw was the hand coming up like this with the ball in it, and the umpire calling them out, and we won the game. That was determination on DeMarcus's part. This kid, our kid, had lots of challenges, made sacrifices, and he said he wouldn't change anything. He worked hard and earned awards from high school, a life-size bronze statue in Indianapolis at the Children's Museum, and many other awards throughout his professional career. DeMarcus is a son, brother, dad, uncle, nephew, and friend to many. He has grown so much in character, self-improvement, curiosity. He's smart, talented, amazing, thoughtful, and he gets his looks from me. We are proud. We can't begin to count all the fun times, games, smiles, laughs, and good times and bad times that he has brought us. And we are so grateful to our family and everyone who has contributed in his journey, including his fellow U.S. national players and especially Landon over there. And Gooch. Where Gooch at? There, Gooch. I need to be on the podcast, man. Don't forget. I just had to throw that in. I'm sorry. Being able to see your son live out his dream is priceless. And on that note, I'd like to introduce DeMarcus Beasley.
Oh, man. Bees, that was a good speech, man. I was a little bit nervous. I didn't know what he was going to say. Gooch, he's not allowed to be on our podcast, by the way. That is, no, we're not doing that. No, but I wanted to say, begin to say congratulations to all the other inductees into the Hall of Fame. It's truly an honor to stand here with you all today to share this great moment in our careers. I want to say thank you to my homies, the 1999 U17 national team. Flip, Nelly, who's on Kenny, Raul, Jeff, manager, Gooch, obviously. We started this in what, 98. So for me to stand here in front of you guys, to know where it all started. Oh, and Landon, sorry. Landon, you was part of that too, my bad. Can't forget Landon. But no, to have you guys here in this moment for me is special. And, I can't talk about that team without mentioning Coach. Coach, you are an inspiration. You taught us how to not only play the game of football, but how to be men and how to be good people. And I think that you instilled that in all of us. And I think we can all tell stories about what you taught us when we were 15, 16 years old. As Landon said, we were cocky and arrogant, and but you brought us down to a level where we could still enjoy the game, but still be a dangerous team to play against. So, Coach, thank you very much. And yeah, I didn't really write a speech. As you guys, if you guys know me, I don't talk very much. I'm a guy that doesn't really speak much about himself, but I'm a moments guy. I wanted to reference one thing. Is I'm sure we all saw the game that LeBron broke the record for being the most, or the Drew, help me out, the most leading scorer in the NBA history. Leading scorer in NBA history. And there was one guy that, if you took a picture of that shot, there's one guy that was just standing there without taking a picture. That's me. Like that's me, and that's kind of how I am. I wanted to be in the moment. I wanted to say what I felt like right now. And my pops, he said, I think it summed it up, his speech, but it summed it up without think and thought what I want to speak about, and that's my family. Because without my family, I would not be here. And I don't mean on the soccer field, on here, standing on the stage, but I mean just here as a person, as a man, as who I am, where I grew up. Like we're 25 deep. My family stays with me. They've been to every World Cup. They've been to all the countries I've played in. And it's kind of funny. Landon, you told a story about your mom. When she went to your game, she was always quiet. My parents were the exact opposite. When you told that story, I'm like, okay, I got to say that. My mom and my dad were the exact opposite. If I was playing or my brother was playing, you knew we were on the field. I had to say that. But no, for me, it's about family. This is not about me. This moment is about you all. That table, and then that table. For me, this is truly a special moment to share with you all, because you guys have been there through everything, through injuries, through bad times when I wasn't playing in Germany. You guys were always there for me to if I was crying, or just to say everything's gonna be all right. And for me, that's special. Regardless of accolades and what I've done in my career, sporting wise, I could always count on my family to be there for me. And, there's one thing that I think, even when we were growing up, is that I learned very early was how to compete. And if you look at our family, we're all athletes. My cousin, my pops talked about Devon. I mean, he was, with Indianapolis Colts, for a while. We had countless. My brother, obviously, he played different sports in high school. Obviously, he played in the MLS as well. But we were a family of athletes. I mean, even last night till 2 o'clock in the morning, we're talking about who was the best athlete in the family. No, this is not a joke. I'm serious. 2 o'clock in the morning last night, my brother won. Jamar did win. But I mean, I mean, but this is what our family is about. You know, we're competitive. We want to win, but you guys instilled that into me. You guys taught me that. And lastly, I see the time thing, but for me, I couldn't end my speech, for one, obviously, without saying anything about my mom and dad, because my mom and dad, you guys did everything for me. And I mean, you've been to every country. You wiped my tears. You were there at every surgery. You were there, just every step of the way. And for me, you know, that's special. And if my parents weren't there, my family was there, taking me to the tournaments that I needed to go to. You know, so for me, this moment is not about me. It's not about anything I've done in my career. It's about my family. That's hands down for me is the most important, most special thing that I can talk about and share with you all today. And before I end, I do want to, you know, talk a little bit about my brother, because a lot of you probably don't know, but my brother was the first ever player signed out of high school to sign an MLS contract. So he was, I even wrote on Twitter a couple of days ago, he was that guy. He was that dude. Like he was special on the soccer field. And without him, he was easily my biggest influence. The way my dad talked about how we broke things in the house. I'm sure John Ellinger, I'm sure you know how I played. Like I didn't care about being knocked down. I was always a guy that got knocked down. I'm going to get up and I'm going to play. People used to call me Gumby because I was just limber. And people were like, you didn't get hurt. I'm like, no, I didn't get hurt. I'm fine. Let's go. Let's play. But my brother, Jamar, taught me that. And I know, I wish he was here, but I know for a fact, if he was not my brother and he wasn't there to be the trailblazer for me, I would not be standing here today. And for me, I think I can speak for my mom and dad that probably the most special moment in our soccer career was when my brother and I played on the same team and became professionals in Chicago. I think that was pretty special. And I'll say for me, like my most special jersey ever was the one that says D Beasley on the back in Chicago Fire. That was my most favorite jersey. But yeah, this is an amazing. This caps off an amazing career for myself. And like I said, I just wanted to speak from my heart. I wanted to be in the moment. I wanted to just let it come out of whatever I said I was going to say. And I felt that for me, my family was a huge, huge part of who I am today, not just on the field, but off the field. So thank you. I appreciate it. And we can all leave now. I'm sure you guys are ready to go. So I'm done. But no, seriously, thank you. Dan, I see you on time. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Congratulations, DeMarcus. Thank you, and thanks to all of you for being part of this special day as we honored Grant, Jill, Steve, Kate, Landon, Lauren, and DeMarcus. Your speeches were wonderful. They were funny. They were heartfelt, and they exemplified everything that's beautiful about our game. Before we get to a couple of housekeeping items, I'm glad Richard brought this up. I was thinking this as I was watching them. David and the staff at U.S. Soccer do an incredible job putting those videos together. They tell such great stories, and that is such an amazing part of the day. Thanks, David, and to your staff. Fantastic work. I haven't mentioned this before in 4 years of doing this. Success for me is not getting through all of the intros. I mean, that's a wonderful part of it. It's a privilege and honor to do it. Success is to make it up and down these stairs throughout the whole day without tripping. Made it through that. Very clumsy, and I made it through that. All right, so we still have a lot to come for the rest of the night as the celebration continues. We've got FC Dallas and St. Louis City SC tonight and a big match here at Toyota Stadium. And we want to share a bit of housekeeping with our guest. First of all, don't forget your credential when you come back for the game this evening. It gives you access to the stadium, the Gallagher Club, and the Hall of Fame when you come back. If you didn't have a chance to visit earlier today, the Hall of Fame exhibits will open back up at 6 o'clock tonight. For those of you staying at the host hotel, there will be shuttles that will depart from just outside the Hall of Fame main entrance, and the return trips will begin at 6:15 p.m. And as we wind things down today, we ask that all of the Hall of Famers and Colin Joe's Media Award winners please join us up on stage for a group photo. Thanks. It's been a pleasure to be here. Good afternoon, and we'll see you in 2024.